All right, so here we go. We're gonna make a three-dimensional letter today. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my piece of paper and I'm gonna fold this in half as closely as I can. I do find that it's helpful to have some sort of like a pencil or pen to really get that edge nice and flattened out. If you are at home, you're an e-learner and you don't have this tag board, something that you could use instead would be just a box like this. You know, if you cut this open, it's basically the same material as the tag board that we're using. Okay, so you have a really nice surface to be able to work with if you wanted to just use a cereal box or any kind of a box similar to that. And then you could use these things as your strips that we will talk about a little bit later. All right, so you could freehand your design onto your paper if you want. The other thing you can do is print off something that you like. If you like that font or whatever, you could sure print one off. If you decided to print one off, you could use your pencil to mark those edges. You could also use something like a piece of chalk. I like chalk just because it goes fast, but it is super messy. Okay, so pencil or chalk, whatever you have available. And then you could set that onto your paper and go ahead and trace it. And there you have your letter. The next thing will be to cut that out. So you can use the scissors. I've got the box cutter. I did have, an X-Acto knife laying here too that you could use. Really depends on what you want to use. It doesn't necessarily make a difference. If you do use like a box cutter or a X-Acto knife there, make sure you put something underneath you. Let's try this. See how this goes. Noticing it's not going all the way through, so it's probably a fairly dull knife, but I should replace that. that I'm gonna do then is lay this back on my paper here, and I'm gonna trace again. This time I'm tracing the cutout that I did. I'm gonna put it up against the edge because that's just less cutting that I will have to do. And you'll see that I'm trying to kind of flatten out that bottom here too. Then I will cut that out and I will have 2 identical pieces to be able to use it for my sculpture. Identical pieces, or really close to identical pieces. It's pretty good. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Okay, now that we have our 2 identical pieces, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to get these to be 3-dimensional. Right now they're flat, and we want them to stand away from each other just slightly. I have these scrap pieces of tagboard that I'm gonna use. There may be different thicknesses, so you could decide if you want your sculpture to be a really wide sculpture like this, or if you want it to be somewhat thinner. That's why there are a couple different options for you, or you could cut them to be different sizes. I'm just gonna use these because they were available to me. I have longer pieces. I do have some that are shorter. Again, they could be cut to be any length that you want to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start with maybe this edge down here, or an edge right here where it's somewhat straight. I think maybe I'll go right here. And I'm going to take this longer piece, and that'll be like a spacer for me. So I'm going to flip this one over so that they're separated. I'm going to put this piece right up in that crease, that edge there. I'm going to tape it down. Something I do recommend is just getting a couple pieces of tape already started, set them off to the side, set them on something so that you don't have to continually come back to this to try to tear off of that. That can be a real pain. All right. Okay. Here we go. So I'm gonna put this right in the corner, tape it down really good, and then I'm gonna do the same on this corner. Okay, and then if I flip it, you'll be able to see how it's starting to get some thickness to it. This part, we're gonna go around the edge here, right? One of the tricks that I have found is you take this and you run it off the edge of your table. You can see that or not. When you do that, it gives it a nice little curve for you. To do this, the next thing I'm gonna do is take some tape. I'm gonna set it right underneath there in a couple spots. And push down on it so it's on there nice. And now I should be able to start to form around that area. And I want to make sure that I'm working from here and here at the same time. You don't want to just go all the way around and then try to get this to fit on top, because it doesn't work very well. So that doesn't work very well. So you want to do them at the same time. gosh, I might just get really lucky and have the length of this fit pretty well. Maybe. Oh, close. It's gonna be a little short, but that's okay. Over and check it out this way. Continuously check it from every direction to make sure it's not like getting wonky one way or another. So far that looks good. And the reason I was checking that is because I have a gap here, but if I were to try to push and pull that, it may not keep it straight this way. So I'm actually just gonna fill over that like this. All right. And I got some curve in there. I'm gonna measure to see how far up that kind of went. So I'm gonna overlap a little there.